Welcome to Belief Busters Podcast, where we change the world one belief at a time. True transformation happens when we question if the beliefs we hold are of truth, or simply someone else's belief that we have internalized as our own. I'm your host, Rev. Sheree Taylor-Jones, and I'm glad you could join us on the journey. So, here we are together. I call us together in power and in truth, awakening to who and what we are, incarnating here for a purpose to create anew. And I want to do one little brief exercise with you. I want you to think back to when you were a child, maybe a toddler, 3, 4, 5. That time is just really an awakened time for us when we're here on planet Earth. Do you remember back to that time? Maybe you remember that you were teaching truth to your parents, grandparents, caregivers. Perhaps you were able to tell them where you came from. Explain to them what God is. Perhaps you were able to see the energetic field of people and plants and animals. Maybe you could even see and speak with spirits. You see, we're all born here into this world with this innate knowing, with clarity and wisdom, awareness of our divinity and the oneness of the universe. Now, here's the interesting piece. How our parents respond or react to our light as children is a defining moment for us. They could have responded by being blown away by our light, or they could have shut us down hard and quick because we were not conforming to their expectations. Often over time, children are just worn down to stop believing in truth, to stop seeing things energetically, and stop being the love and the light to everyone and everything that they meet. And the child then moves from this innate knowing to focusing on pleasing their family systems. And then we get a little older and we realize that we start meeting the expectations of our educational systems. And then we become young adults and our focus turns to meeting society's expectations of becoming a productive and successful member in society. Well, that's a lot, isn't it? And we really become indoctrinated to believe that we want to excel in these systems because we believe it's of the utmost importance. You know, we want to be loved, and we learn that regardless of what anyone says, love is conditional in our society, and it's based on our performance. And our experience tells us that when we perform well, guess what? We get the kudos, we get the accolades. And when we don't perform that well, we don't seem to get that love and support. And it's from our humanity's experiences that, we really kind of like those accolades, don't we? We like the approvals, the love, the respect. We want to be seen, to be desired and looked up to. But what this creates for us is this cycle of where productivity, our performance, becomes equal to our value, our worth in the world. We become so focused on our performance that we measure our worth based on society's expectations and values of us. Now, when we direct our lives in such a way, we really lose our true selves. We come to believe that our worth is based on our financial income and on our material wealth. And if we don't have what society states is wealth and success, well, then often we think we are worth less than others. And on top of this awful indoctrination that many of us suffer through growing up about our value and worth, as women, we also endure the indoctrination of being female in a patriarchal society. And often that indoctrination evolves into this unwritten rule that being a woman is less valuable than being a man. Now, maybe as a female, you also learned that you couldn't have what was your heart's desire, what you really wanted. Perhaps you were told that, you know what, chica, you gotta sacrifice in one or more aspects in your life to be able to excel in one area. You know, for some women, it means sacrificing their femininity to excel in the business world, because we've been told it's a man's world, and in order to succeed, we must emulate the toxic masculinity. Now, for others, it may mean sacrificing one's drive and passion to find love and security from a partner or spouse. And yet, there are still other women that may sacrifice happiness and their life's purpose just for basic survival. Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you that those beliefs in not enough and required sacrifice for a wonder-filled life, that's a myth. They are beliefs that we have been indoctrinated into believing as real. They're not real. It's just society's way of controlling the masses. You see, it's three-dimensional living when we are fourth and fifth-dimensional beings. Yes, of course we're human, but we're so much more than that. We are spiritual. We are energetic molecules of the universe. We are the frequency of love and the vibration of the divine. We are all of that. But this process of forgetting our allness, our totality, as we go through the indoctrination of societal norms, stops us from being our highest selves. And once we forget that truth, that allness that we are, guess what? We tend to focus on the lowest denomination, the lowest dimension, which is being an egoic human. Well, a couple of reasons why. One is it's easier. You know, we know what that is. We've been conditioned to be that, to expect that. Even if it's painful or it creates suffering, it's still more comfortable than dealing with the fear and anxiety we may feel when we shake off society's rules and claim our divine knowing. But I'm here to tell you there is another way. It is to start listening to that still small voice of your highest self from within. Now let me be clear, that small voice is not your inner critic. You see, your inner critic is the voice of your internalized parents, family members, teachers, and bosses that tell you how to live life up to their expectations. The inner critic's intention may have been to help keep you safe as you navigate through society's systems. But the inner critic hasn't realized that it has become excessive and punitive to keep you within societal boundaries and norms. The inner critic's job isn't to make you feel better, it's to make you fall in line. And that's a big difference from our inner wisdom. The still small voice, that is your inner wisdom. And in the beginning, when you attempt to hear it, it's often so quiet and so small because it's been suppressed for such a really very long time. And to hear our inner wisdom requires us to get off the hamster wheel of productivity and performance for a little while, to pause, to breathe, and to listen. Your inner wisdom resonates in the frequency of love and possibilities. When you hear your inner wisdom, it comes from the place of seeing you, loving you, respecting you, wanting the best for you, recognizing that your gifts are essential for the planet, and it knows your life's purpose. Sometimes when we start to hear that inner voice, we may want to deny it. And the reason for this is because, it's been denied from so many times, not only from us, but from the folks who were our caregivers, right? Whose job it was to safeguard us. So I'm telling you to be patient with yourself. And as you start this process of listening and following your wisdom, you're going to just take baby steps. We always have to do baby steps when we're starting something new, something unknown. And what you're going to find is that you're going to start trusting your inner voice, trusting this new way of stepping into the world to create. The reality is, you may feel anxious, you may feel a little uncomfortable as you create from this place of wisdom because you're stepping out from the norm. But I'm saying to you, persevere, because I'm promising you it is so, so worth it. Now, as you continue to do this work of listening to your wisdom, you'll discover that it will be in direct opposition to some of your existing beliefs. There's no surprise there, is it? So let me tell you one of my own examples. It was back in about 2011, and I had a business, and it was the time of that big recession, and I had to close the business. And I was feeling mighty sorry for myself, I'll tell you. And I was sitting on the couch, and I heard so clear my inner wisdom, and it said this: how long are you going to run from what is your life's purpose of being a minister, of being a spiritual leader? Well, you could have knocked me over with a feather at that point. But what it did is it brought to my awareness my internalized beliefs, my beliefs about religion and how horrible religion is, my beliefs about who I am and my gifts as a spiritual leader. It brought up my beliefs about my own self-worth. And of course, there was that belief of, I'm too old to change careers at this point. But it was a wonderful time because it really required me to challenge those beliefs. Because I internalized somebody else's truth, not my own. I had to be willing to be uncertain, uncomfortable, and, face my own fears. So by the time that I heard this question, it was a good place because I had already been working with my inner wisdom. So there was some level of trust that I had already established with my inner wisdom. So I was more fearless as I contemplated releasing and then creating new beliefs to support me in my next evolution of consciousness. And after creating these new beliefs, I was then able to act. I was able to step into going to seminary for 3 years and then becoming a new type of reverend. I'm a minister that accepts and includes all, regardless of race, creed, color, gender, or spiritual path. Any path that someone takes to connect to source, to something higher and greater than themselves, is worthy, is worthwhile. And so as I continue to trust on my inner wisdom, it continues to be an exciting journey of many firsts and awakenings and what ifs. And I've been changed at depth. But you know what's more important than that? It changes the lives of those that I support and connect with. So, if there is an amazing idea that's just been kind of bubbling inside of you, but for some reason, maybe you're paralyzed about making it happen, or maybe you just feel simply stuck on what's yours to do, then I invite you to challenge the belief that's holding you back. Step into your power and create the life that you deserve. If you are enjoying these conversations about assessing your belief systems and how to transform outdated beliefs, then please subscribe and give us a positive review. To support this podcast and its transformative work, you can also become a sponsor for as little as $5 a month. You can reach Rev Sheree at info@beliefbusterspodcast.org. To continue on this journey of evolution, you can also get my book, Turning Your Why into Why Not, at Amazon or any other bookstores, which gives you practical tools to do this work. See you next time on the flip side.